long passion and interest in the winemaking industry, with my family roots, a proud grape-growing region, Victoria's northeast, which some people call locally God's country, my family having lived there for 6 generations. The winemaking industry is a major contributor to the Australian economy, which is consistently growing, particularly in Asia. We need to raise international awareness of our quality wines to grow the industry and safeguard the reputation of our wine producers abroad. The Wine Export Label Directory is essential for this. I commend this bill, which will enable a wine export label directory to be established by Wine Australia to assist brand owners to protect their intellectual property rights. Mr Deputy Speaker, in my maiden speech in this place, I noted that my uncle on my mother's side is the great Mick Morris of 6 generations of Rutherglen wine-making fame. He notably produced the first dry red Durif in 1954, making him a pioneer of the variety in Australia, which was otherwise known as Petite Syrah. My uncle once described Durif as Shiraz on steroids. My cousins and other extended family members continue this proud tradition of winemaking in the Rutherglen region in northern Victoria today. In my electorate of Higgins, there are many great restaurants and bars, as well as wine cellars, which stock and serve high-quality wine from all over Australia. With winemaking in my blood and in my constituency, I commend this label directory. Mr Deputy Speaker, the government wants to support winemakers, and that's because we recognise the importance of the Australian winemaking industry and its importance to our economy. That is in the order of $45 billion. We've invested $50 million in the Export and Regional Wine Support Package. This money will be invested over 4 years to grow Australia's wine exports and showcase wine tourism in the US and Asia, 2 key target markets. A key component of this package is to develop wine producers to participate in international trade activities, as well as provide marketing and advertising materials for markets abroad. This has allowed winemakers to get a jump start on exports in countries such as the US and Asia. For example, David Ritchie of Delatite Wines in Victoria said the funding has allowed his business to conduct tastings and dinners with exporters in Shanghai. The Ministers for Trade, a proud South Australian and a long-time advocate of the Australian wine industry, and I note here in the chamber the member for Sturt, who I know also has a keen interest in the wine industry, was touting the global opportunities that lie ahead for the industry in his recent address at the National Press Club. The Morrison government is currently negotiating an Australian-UK free trade agreement, and it's hoped this will directly benefit the winemaking industry. Mr Deputy Speaker, the label directory builds on the government's commitment to the industry. It will provide a public-facing online database of all Australian wine labels for export that can be used by wine brand owners to search for copycat labels. It will require all Australian wine exporters to submit images of their labels prior to obtaining export certification, which will be uploaded into a searchable directory. This will be supported by the development of the label directory by our commitment of $417,000 in funding, plus additional contingency funds. Wine Australia has indicated that the wine directory will be built into their wine export approval system, which is currently being upgraded. And this is necessary because growth in international demand has also driven the counterfeit of Australian and other premium wines all around the world. For example, the iconic Penfolds brand, which is very popular in Asia, and some exported vintages can fetch over $800. This presents a large markup for counterfeits. In recent years, we've witnessed a number of copycat wine schemes in Asia which have been exposed by police, and this has seen thousands of fake bottles seized. It is estimated that counterfeits will cost the global industry and Australian winemakers dearly. According to Frontier Economics, an international research firm, the global economic value of counterfeiting and piracy could reach $2 trillion by 2022. Now, Mr Deputy Speaker, this bill is critical to allow brand owners to protect the intellectual property rights and the export value of their wine. It will ensure that customers both here and abroad can be confident they are getting a safe and genuine product. That means they're going to get what the label on the bottle says. This will help build trust in Brand Australia, or continue to build trust in a very good brand, which is Brand Australia. This bill will also ensure that Australia is playing a leadership role in the global winemaking industry by spearheading protection for the labels abroad, which will promote trust and confidence in international markets. To close, Mr Deputy Speaker, protecting our winemaking industry is an economic imperative. This bill will create a label directory and is a key component of the government's ongoing support for such an important industry. It builds up the export and regional wine support package and our pursuit of freeing up global export opportunities for the industry. And as a member of the Trade and Investment Growth Committee recently, I'm very proud of this initiative. It will protect the intellectual property rights of our winemakers and combat the growing market of counterfeit wine abroad. It will ensure confidence and quality in our wine and continue the support of an important industry. I commend this bill to the House. Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker.
I thank the member for Higgins. The question is the words proposed to be omitted stand part of the question. I give the call to the member for Macarthur.
Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. I rise today also